And then there's House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who dodged, then ignored questions yesterday about Trump's new presidential campaign.
President Trump announcing.
Why are you prepared to endorse President Trump?
Why?
No,
what
are you prepared to endorse him?
Any comment on running?
You guys are crazy.
Do you support him to run for president?
You must stop.
Do you want to? Will you endorse him?
My Kevin, where hath you gone, my Kevin? He just doesn't want to talk about it, which Sam Stein certainly means that he wasn't too worried about the threat coming from Mar-a-Lago, one of Donald Trump's remaining supporters down there. Said that Kevin McCarthy, if he wanted to win the speakership, is going to have to strongly support Donald Trump and say it out loud. He's just completely avoiding it, and he wants to become the next Speaker of the House. So that's a guy, when he's walking, avoiding answering that question, he's just simply reflecting the will of most of his members.
Look, this all reminds me of this movie, Fright Night, involving a bunch of vampires.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to go down that road. I will not go down the werewolves and vampires metaphor here. Look, I think I align myself here with Jen's comments, which is, one, I do think Trump can probably use some of this to his advantage. He ran successfully as an outsider in 2015. Now, of course, he was the president in between then and now, so less of ability to do so. But, you know, he doesn't necessarily need the GOP establishment to run for office. He's done it before without it. Two is, I think on the fundraising front, you know, these GOP mega donors are helpful in funding outside efforts, but Trump's main cash base is the online donations. He should still have that. The third component is stuff like McCarthy and Pompeo and Pence and the pile-on. That, I think, is a little bit more tricky to navigate. But then again, you know, Trump has a lot of leverage over McCarthy. So if McCarthy doesn't want to answer that question now, all Trump really has to do is come out and say, we need to not elect this man speaker when the vote is actually held in public in early January. That's a ton of leverage over McCarthy, especially because the House Republican majority would be so slim. So, you know, I know Trump's in a weakened state, but he's been in a weakened state before. Post-January 6th, we all thought it was the last chapter for him. And then McCarthy went down to Mar-a-Lago. So I'm not totally sure that this is it for Trump. I think he has a few more tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, and Jen Psaki, you know, it's not just donors and what they do with their money. There are some Republican leaders that are finding a way to sort of speak around this or speak to the Trump issue without mentioning Trump's name. And you look at one governor who's now working with Corey Lewandowski, who worked with Trump, but finding a way to navigate this.
Kristi Noem, right.
Yeah, Kristi Noem. I mean, look, she was quoted this morning. The fact that Corey Lewandowski is in the story sitting with her, it's like, why? What is happening there? That was one of my reactions. But you know, she talked about the need to expand the base of the party and talk to people who support Trump, but don't support Trump. Now, putting aside all of the crazy, which we should not put aside all the crazy, that is the kind of message that wins elections. Right? And if you look at it, it's so starkly different from what Kari Lake did when she kind of punched all the McCain supporters and all the people in Arizona who love McCain in the face, which turned out didn't work for her. And the expansion of it, expanding the vote, is what either party needs to do. So I read that and thought, why is Corey Lewandowski there? But also that's a smart message.
And that message, you know, it's interesting, Willie, that message really stands out, jumped off the page to me, because you have an understanding. You have Republicans talking like they haven't spoken in about a decade. We have to expand the base. You heard that from Kristi Noem, who doesn't govern like a person who thinks she needs to expand the base, but after the election results, she thinks she needs to expand the base. You had Mitch McConnell saying that the Republicans were too harsh, they were too severe, they scared away independents, all of this. And I saw a headline yesterday in the New York Times that the Senate actually had gone over a procedural safeguard to ensure marriage equality. It's a shocking headline how easily that procedural vote passed. Let's remember, again, just for perspective, Then Vice President Joe Biden went on a Sunday show and said the administration supported marriage equality and same-sex marriage, and he paid a terrible price for it inside the Obama White House because Barack Obama was running for re-election. He was still saying that marriage was between a man and a woman because he was a Christian. And so that was just a decade ago that even progressives were angry at Joe Biden for getting ahead of them on this message. Here we are 10 years later, and you have Republicans and Democrats coming together to support a same-sex marriage protection, which, again, we wouldn't have seen the vote pass that cleanly before last week. There is an understanding. There's just a big understanding, I think, among a lot of Republicans that they've got to stop turning off independents and moderates if they want to win elections again.
Yeah, that's almost a direct quote from Mitch McConnell a couple of days ago. He said, we just got wiped out among independents. We got to figure out how to change that. The vote yesterday, that procedural hurdle on the federal gay marriage legislation was 62 votes. So you got 12 Republicans to go with the 50 Democrats. I should point out Mitch McConnell was not among them. He voted against it. But it looks like it's on a path toward passing through the Senate to have federal legislation codifying gay marriage. So that's one step Republicans may be recognizing, but then there's the extremism on abortion, on guns, on democracy, and all the other things that cost them so desperately in this election and kind of stun them. Are they willing to change? Are they able to change their positions on those, or at least moderate them a little bit so they can recapture some of those independents who fled from them a couple of days ago?
Yeah, and make no mistake of it, when Willie talks about extremism on these positions, we've talked about this before. You know, the majority are a plurality of Americans. When you talk about abortion, they support the 15-week ban that John Roberts had supported in upholding a Mississippi law that the rest of the court would not have gone along with. If they had, the whole world politically would have most likely been different. But it's when you hear on abortion 10-year-old girls in Ohio that have been raped having to flee the state, when you have candidates running for governor talking about 14-year-old girls being raped by their uncles being the perfect example of why there can't be any exceptions. When you talk about that, when you talk about guns, Republicans who have been on the wrong side of a 90-10 issue for years now, since Sandy Hook, 90% of Americans support universal background checks and other gun safety laws. I'm wondering, as we move forward, are Republicans still going to support the 7%, the 8%, the 9% position just to please some gun lobbyists? Doesn't make a lot of political sense.
It does
All
not.
of this adds up and makes the Republican Party look like it's out of touch, which is why, Mika, Republicans underperformed so historically this week.